be doing some cooking. All of the recipes from today's video will be available on my blog Eat Run Lift if you would like a full nutritional breakdown and instructions. And my website blog host Squarespace has actually sponsored today's video, so I just wanted to say a quick little thank you to them. If you've seen my videos before and you're coming back to view another one, thank you. It's lovely to have you here. I hope you're well. If you're new, my name is Rachel. I'm a personal trainer, nutritionist, and a wellness coach. I spend a lot of my time coaching badass women to become strong and fit and kick their goals, and when I'm not, I'm over here making videos for you guys. So I thought today I'd put together some dinner options which are really easy for you to prepare because, let's be honest, after a long day of working, you don't want to spend ages in the kitchen. I don't anyway. So I thought I would put together some options for you which are nutritionally dense, high in protein, and are going to help fuel you through the next day, help you feel good, and help you recover from your workouts if you're doing that kind of thing. I'll leave a little recipe card before I jump into each recipe so you can double check that you've got all the ingredients you need, but if you would like a full macronutrient breakdown and written out instructions, check the description box because I'll leave it all linked for you guys. Firstly, I wanted to start with a slightly more interesting variation of chicken and green vegetables because we all know that can be a little bit boring. So I decided let's put together a lemon pepper chicken, and there's no obscure ingredients. It's very simple to make, so it's a great option if you've had a really busy day. To start with, I'm going to make a coating for the chicken. Now, I'm using wholemeal flour. You could also use spelt flour or just whatever you've got on hand. And I'm adding in my salt, pepper, and cayenne pepper. But if you've got paprika, that would work really well too. I'm just going to make sure that we're evenly coating the chicken. And then for this recipe, I've said to use 15 grams of butter, but we're going to separate it. We're going to use 10 grams first for the chicken. And then we're going to come back later and use the last 5 grams for the greens, and we're cooking it all in one dish just to make it easy and to save you from doing some washing up. And how are you guys? How's everything been? I bought a new microphone, so I'm not sure if things sound a little bit different. I definitely need to soundproof my room better, so apologies if it doesn't sound quite right. Now that the chicken's done, we're just going to pull that out of the pan and put our greens in there. You guys know I like to use frozen vegetables just for the sake of convenience because I go through a lot and I just want to make sure I've always got them on hand. So I'm going to let them cook for a little bit on their own before I add the sliced lemon. Charring that lemon at the same time is going to allow some of that flavor to infuse into the greens, just to add a slightly more interesting flavor to them. And then we're also going to squeeze that over the top of the chicken once it's all cooked. Now my vegetarian and vegan friends, where you at? I know there's a bunch of you guys here. So I thought I'd put together a recipe for you guys today, and we are going to do a crunchy vegan protein bowl. So for this meal, we're going to be doing a little bit of protein combining, and it's going to help you feel so satiated. To start with, I'm putting together a sauce, and we're going to let the tofu, the broccoli, and the chickpeas marinate in this. You could even prepare this in the morning, let it sit in the fridge in an airtight container all day, and then come home and cook it. So I'm using some salt, chili powder, garlic paste, coconut aminos, and olive oil. I use coconut aminos as a substitute for soy sauce. If you are using a soy sauce, you won't need to add the salt. I'm going to cut my tofu into about 1 centimeter slices. So for 2 servings, I'm using 250 grams of tofu. And then you could either keep them in a tofu press in your fridge beforehand, or you can take some paper towel and press out all the moisture like I'm doing here. This is going to allow them to cook a lot better. So put your back into it. I'm just going to chop them up into smaller pieces and then put them into that bowl with the sauce and let them marinate for a bit on its own. And that sat on its own for about half an hour off camera. Now that that sauce has infused through, I'm just going to pop them onto a baking tray and bake them at 200 degrees Celsius, which is roughly 400 Fahrenheit, for about 25 minutes because we want to make sure that the chickpeas and the tofu get a little bit crunchy. You can even space them apart further than I did. Once they're ready, I'm serving it up with some spinach, and I'm using a parboiled, like pre-cooked mix of quinoa and brown rice. I'm using half a cup per serving, and you can add whatever other vegetables you want, but I thought this one would be convenient and not too complicated, especially if you're in a rush. If you eat prawns and seafood, please give this recipe a go for me. This is one of my favorite things that I have made lately, and it's a prawn stir fry. If you're in the US and you're like, what the heck is a prawn? You could use a shrimp. That would work as well. So again, I'm just making 2 servings. To start with, I'm going to cook 2 eggs, and I'm just going to scramble them in a pan with half a teaspoon of olive oil. While my eggs are cooking, I'm just going to start preparing some of my vegetables. So you can use whatever kind you like, but what I had on hand and felt like making for this one was snow peas, capsicum, brown onion, zucchini, and bean sprouts. I would love to know as well, what is your favorite meal of all time? I feel like mine's gonna be super boring, don't judge me, but salmon cooked with crispy skin and green veg on the side. Like, you just need some salt on the skin and some olive oil. But what about you guys? Now that my eggs are cooked, I'm just going to separate them and put them in a bowl and quickly wash out the pan. Like I mentioned, I wanted these recipes to be quite simple, so I have tried to stick to just using 1 pan or 1 tray to cook them. Now, in this little bowl, I've got some prawns, and what I'm adding to it is some olive oil, some coconut aminos. Again, you could use soy sauce if you like. I'm grating up some fresh ginger, and I'm also going to add in some garlic and 2 tablespoons of rice wine vinegar. I'm going to mix that through and let it sit on the prawns before I cook them. Now I'm taking another half a teaspoon of olive oil. I have included all my cooking oils and everything in the macronutrients as well, so if you're checking the macros on my blog, they're all listed in there for you. Once the prawns have been flipped and cooked on both sides, I'm going to remove them from the pan, and then I'm adding in some of the vegetables. So I'm going to add in the onion, the snow peas, the capsicum, and the bean sprouts. And I'm going to let them cook for a little bit on their own. I'm just adding in a bit of salt and chili powder and just the leftover bit of the sauce that was left from the prawns. I will add in some zucchini, but I'm not adding it in right now because if I let it cook for too long, it's just going to go soggy and not be very nice. Now, all the macronutrients and the full recipes for what I'm sharing with you here today are available on my blog, which is eatrunlift.me. So you can jump over there and have a look at that. And I wanted to say thank you again to Squarespace for bringing you today's video. It's probably no secret now if you've seen my videos for a while that I have been using Squarespace to host my website for about 6 years, which is a long time. And the reason that I do that is because their system is simple. It's set up to make my job easy. It's so easy to create blog posts. I can duplicate previous posts and set them up in the same format. You can run your email campaigns through them, and they have all these amazing templates which you can simply get started with, fill in with your content and your branding, and make it a really seamless, beautiful experience for the users that are going to be on that viewer end of your website. They also have great tools to help your business grow, including a new membership system which you can integrate into your website. They've got fantastic SEO, as well as all your e-commerce already built in, including reporting and additional tools that you need for the behind the scenes business stuff, like all your tax and making that easy. So if you'd like to give it a go, jump on over to squarespace.com, set up your free trial, see how you like the feel of it. Trust me, it is a beautiful experience from the design side of things. And then when you're ready to launch your website, go to the URL I've put on the screen or in the description box, which is squarespace.com/RachelOst, and that will give you 10% off your first purchase when you do hit that launch button. Now that the veggies are pretty much cooked, which only takes a few minutes by the way, don't overdo them, we're going to add the egg and the prawn back in and just stir them through. And you could also serve with some chopped spring onion, which I forgot to show me putting it on, but you can see that it's on there now, and this was delicious. Swapping it over for another single skillet dish, we are making a turkey mince taco skillet. If you don't like turkey, you could also swap for chicken mince, you could swap for extra lean beef mince, or even that beyond beef, like the veggie substitute mince. If you wanted to use something like that, that would work perfectly in this recipe too. I'm just starting by prepping my vegetables first. Once the turkey is cooked almost all the way through, we're going to add our veggies in, and then on top of that I'm going to add in a bunch of spices. I'm going to do chili powder, garlic powder, dried oregano, cumin, paprika, and some salt. I don't know about you guys, but I just love these kind of flavors, and I feel like I don't get sick of them, which is such a good thing because it saves from having to come up with all different kinds of meal options all the time. Once the capsicum and the onion had cooked for a little bit on their own, I'm adding in some freshly chopped tomato, but you could use canned tomato if you wanted to use that, and some washed black beans. Now I'm using some parboiled brown rice again because you guys know I'm all about the packet rice and saving my time, but if you want to cook your rice from scratch, start it before you start the mince. Then I'm going to put some low-fat cheese on top, and you might also like to serve this with some fresh avocado or some guacamole. I hope you're all well. Thank you for checking out the recipes, and like I mentioned, if you want them written out in full, jump on over to my blog or feel free to come on over and join me on Instagram and we can hang out over there. I'll catch you guys in my next upload. Bye!